Shalom, welcome to Unfoldable Wealth. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. This channel is all about building wealth, and one of the most successful groups of people who have consistently built wealth over thousands of years is the Jewish community. They are the most educated religious group and are more likely to have sound financial habits than the average person. I wanted to find out why. Now I know there are some strong negative stereotypes regarding the Jewish community and money. I will not entertain those ideas, nor do I believe every Jewish person is wealthy. But no one can deny the overall success of the community as a whole, considering their relatively small population. I personally view the community with high regard. I have a lot of admiration for what they've managed to build after what they've been through, and I'm always intrigued by what rabbis have to say. I believe you should always turn your ear to the words of the wise, always pay attention to wisdom. And for that reason, I decided to go direct to the source and comb through the Tanakh, otherwise known as the Hebrew Bible, or what Christians refer to as the Old Testament, to learn what exactly makes the Jewish community so successful with money. I discovered the rules of the game haven't changed since biblical times. Sound money principles that worked then still apply today. This timeless book is the foundation. Although it's a religious text and God is at the forefront, money plays a major role in the world and is no different throughout the pages from Genesis to Chronicles. I personally chose 101 money-related verses that I truly believe will help you understand why they are so successful with money, and more importantly, how you too can adopt sound money habits, lessons and principles to accumulate more wealth for yourself and your community. Although there are 101 verses, you'll see there are only a handful of key themes that stand out. See if you can spot them and comment below. Take notes, then take action. I hope you enjoy. Let's begin. Genesis. And the Lord said to Abram, after Lot had parted from him, raise your eyes and look out from where you are, to the north and south, to the east and west, for I give all the land that you see to you and your offspring forever. And throughout the generations, every male among you shall be circumcised at the age of 8 days, as for the homeborn slave and the one bought from an outsider, who is not of your offspring. They must be circumcised, homeborn and purchased alike. Thus shall my covenant be marked in your flesh as an everlasting pact. Let all the food of these good years that are coming be gathered, and let the grain be collected under Pharaoh's authority as food to be stored in the cities. Let that food be a reserve for the land, for the 7 years of famine which will come upon the land of Egypt, so that the land may not perish in the famine. Exodus. If you lend money to my people, to the poor among you, do not act toward them as a creditor. Exact no interest from them. Leviticus. You shall not defraud your fellow. You shall not commit robbery. The wages of a laborer shall not remain with you until morning. If anyone consecrates to the Lord any land that he holds, its assessment shall be in accordance with its seed requirement, 50 shekels of silver to a homer of barley seed. Deuteronomy. And you say to yourselves, my own power and the might of my own hand have won this wealth for me. Remember that it is the Lord your God who gives you the power to get wealth, in fulfillment of the covenant that he made on the oath with your fathers, as is still the case. You shall not bring the fee of a whore or the pay of a dog into the house of the Lord your God in fulfillment of any vow, for both are abhorrent to the Lord your God. You shall not deduct interest from loans to your countrymen, whether in money or food or anything else that can be deducted as interest. But you may deduct interest from loans to foreigners. Do not deduct interest from loans to your countrymen, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all your undertakings in the land that you are about to enter and possess. The Lord will open for you his bounteous store, the heavens, to provide rain for your land in season and to bless all your undertakings. You will be creditor to many nations, but debtor to none. The Lord will make you the head, not the tail. You will always be at the top and never at the bottom. if only you obey and faithfully observe the commandments of the Lord your God that I enjoin upon you this day. 1 Samuel. The Lord makes poor and makes rich. He casts down, he also lifts high. He raises the poor from the dust, lifts up the needy from the dunghill, setting them with nobles, granting them seats of honor. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, he has set the word upon them. Psalms. Who has never lent money at interest or accepted a bribe against the innocent? The man who acts thus shall never be shaken. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. You spread a table for me in full view of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My drink is abundant. Better the little that the righteous man has than the great abundance of the wicked. The wicked man borrows and does not repay. The righteous is generous and keeps giving. Those blessed by him shall inherit the land, but those cursed by him shall be cut off. In time of trouble, why should I fear the encompassing evil of those who should supplant me? Men who trust in their riches, who glory in their great wealth. Ah, it cannot redeem a man, or pay his ransom to God. The price of life is too high, and so one ceases to be, forever. Hallelujah! Happy is the man who fears the Lord, who is ardently devoted to his commandments. His descendants will be mighty in the land, a blessed generation of upright men. Wealth and riches are in his house, and his beneficence last forever. Turn my heart to your decrees, and not to love of gain. The idols of the nations are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but cannot speak. They have eyes, but cannot see. They have ears, but cannot hear. Nor is there breath in their mouths. Those who fashion them, all who trust in them, shall become like them. Proverbs. In the eyes of every winged creature, the outspread net means nothing. But they lie in ambush for their own blood. They lie in wait for their own lives. Such is the fate of all who pursue unjust gain. It takes the life of its possessor. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the best of all your income, and your barns will be filled with grain, your vats will burst with new wine. Do not withhold good from one who deserves it, when you have the power to do it. Do not say to your fellow, "Come back again, I'll give it to you tomorrow," when you have it with you. Lazy bones go to the ant, study its ways and learn. Without leaders, officers, or rulers, it lays up its stores during the summer, gathers in its food at the harvest. How long will you lie there, lazy bones? When will you wake from your sleep? A bit more sleep, a bit more slumber, a bit more hugging yourself in bed, and poverty will come calling upon you, and want like a man with a shield. Ill-gotten wealth is of no avail, but righteousness saves from death. The Lord will not let the righteous go hungry, but he denies the wicked what they crave. Negligent hands cause poverty, but diligent hands enrich. He who lays in stores during the summer is a capable son, but he who sleeps during the harvest is an incompetent. The wise store up knowledge. The mouth of the fool is an imminent ruin. The wealth of a rich man is his fortress. The poverty of the poor is his ruin. The labor of the righteous man makes for life. The produce of the wicked man makes for want. The tongue of a righteous man is choice silver, but the mind of the wicked is of little worth. It is the blessing of the Lord that enriches, and no toil can increase it. Wealth is of no avail on the day of wrath, but the righteousness saves from death. The wicked man earns illusory wages, but he who sows righteousness has a true reward. One man gives generously, and ends with more. Another stints on doing the right thing and incurs a loss. A generous person enjoys prosperity. He who satisfies others shall himself be sated. He who trusts in his wealth shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish like foliage. Better to be lightly esteemed and have a servant than to put on airs and have no food. Riches are ransom for a man's life. The poor never heard a reproof. Arrogance yields nothing but strife. Wisdom belongs to those who seek advice. Wealth may dwindle to less than nothing, but he who gathers little by little increases it. A good man has what to bequeath to his grandchildren, for the wealth of the sinners is stored up for the righteous. A simple person believes anything. A clever man ponders his course. A pauper is despised even by his peers, but a rich man has many friends. He who despises his fellow is wrong. He who shows pity for the lowly is happy. From all toil there is some gain, but idle chatter is pure loss. He who withholds what is due to the poor affronts his maker. He who shows pity for the needy honors him. In the house of the righteous there is much treasure, but in the harvest of the wicked there is trouble. Better a little with fear of the Lord than great wealth with confusion. Better a meal of vegetables where there is love than a fattened ox where there is hate. The Lord will tear down the house of the proud, but he will establish the homestead of the widow. He who pursues ill-gotten gain makes trouble for his household. He who spurns gifts will live long. Better a little with righteousness than a large income with injustice. The appetite of a laborer labors for him, because his hunger forces him on. Better a dry crust with peace than a house full of feasting with strife. The wealth of a rich man is his fortress. In his fancy it is a protective wall. A man's gift eases his way and gives him access to the great. Wealth makes many friends, but a poor man loses his last friend. He who is generous to the poor makes a loan to the Lord. He will repay him his due. Do not love sleep, lest you be impoverished. Keep your eyes open, and you will have plenty of food. Gold is plentiful, jewels abundant, but wise speech is a precious object. An estate acquired in haste at the outset will not be blessed in the end. The plans of the diligent make only for gain. All rash haste makes only for loss. Who stops his ears at the cry of the wretched? He too will call and not be answered. He who loves pleasure comes to want. He who loves wine and oil does not grow rich. The craving of a lazy man kills him, for his hands refuse to work. All day long he is seized with craving, while the righteous man gives without stint. Repute is preferable to great wealth. Grace is better than silver and gold. Rich man and poor man meet. The Lord made them both. The shrewd man saw trouble and took cover. The simple kept going and paid the penalty. The effect of humility is fear of the Lord, wealth, honor, and life. The rich rule the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. He who sows injustice shall reap misfortune. His rod of wrath shall fail. The generous man is blessed, for he gives of his bread to the poor. To profit by withholding what is due to the poor is like making gifts to the rich, pure loss. Do not rob the wretched because he is wretched. Do not crush the poor man in the gate. For the Lord will take up their cause, and despoil those who despoil them of life. Do not toil to gain wealth. Have the sense to desist. You see it, then it is gone. It grows wings and flies away, like an evil, heavenward. Do not eat of a stingy man's food. Do not crave for his dainties. He is like one keeping accounts. Eat and drink, he says to you, but he does not really mean it. Listen, my son, and get wisdom. Lead your mind in a proper path. Do not be of those who guzzle wine or glut themselves on meat, for guzzlers and gluttons will be impoverished, and drowsing will clothe you in tatters. A house is built by wisdom, and is established by understanding. By knowledge are its rooms filled with all precious and beautiful things. 7 times the righteous man falls and gets up, while the wicked are tripped by one misfortune. If you find honey, eat only what you need, lest, surfeiting yourself, you throw it up. Do not boast of tomorrow, for you do not know what the day will bring. Let the mouth of another praise you, not yours, the lips of a stranger, not your own. Better is a poor man who lives blamelessly than a rich man whose ways are crooked. He who increases his wealth by loans at discount or interest amasses it for one who is generous to the poor. A rich man is clever in his own eyes, but a perceptive poor man can see through him. Happy is the man who is anxious always, but he who hardens his heart falls into misfortune. He who tills his land will have food in plenty, but he who pursues vanities will have poverty in plenty. A dependable man will receive many blessings, but one in a hurry to get rich will not go unpunished. A miserly man runs after wealth. He does not realize that loss will overtake it. He who gives to the poor will not be in want, but he who shuts his eyes will be roundly cursed. A righteous man is concerned with the cause of the wretched. A wicked man cannot understand such concern. A man's pride will humiliate him, but a humble man will obtain honor. What a rare find is a capable wife. Her worth is far beyond that of rubies. Ecclesiastes. A lover of money never has his fill of money, nor a lover of wealth his fill of income. That too is futile. As his substance increases, so do those who consume it. What then does the success of his owner amount to but feast in his eyes? A worker's sleep is sweet, whether he has much or little to eat, but the rich man's abundance doesn't let him sleep. For to be in the shelter of wisdom is to be also in the shelter of money, and the advantage of intelligence is that wisdom preserves the life of him who possesses it. Through slothfulness the ceiling sags, through lazy hands the house caves in. They make a banquet for revelry, wine makes life merry, and money answers every need. Thank you for listening. God bless. I wish you abundance and prosperity. Drop your favorite verse in the comment section below.